Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today we have another list video for you guys. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but this one's a little bit different from normal. Normally I'm putting ships in lists because of things like their characteristics, how they perform in certain game modes, this, that, and the other. But today we're going through Easter eggs, 5 of them to be exact. Now, an Easter egg is a hidden either nod, in-joke, or something that the developers of the game put into the game that isn't necessarily meant to be discovered, but it's always a fun time looking for them, and finding them usually rewards you with just a sense of satisfaction, depending upon what the Easter egg is exactly. It can be as simple as a hidden bit of text, or as complicated as some of like the Battlefield 4 Easter eggs, or we have to solve little puzzles to have some event get triggered, like the Megalodon in BF4. But in World of Warships, there's quite a few of them, and today I've selected 5. A few that I'm pretty sure some of you guys are aware of. We're also looking at hidden details, or details in general too, because some of the work put into, well, a lot of these ships in the game in general is very, very, very in-depth and detailed, and I really appreciate that, and I know many of you do as well. So we're going to be going through 5 of these in no particular order. We're going to get started off, of course, at good old number 5, which is going to be on the Tier 8 German battleship Bismarck. In particular, the from the ocean depth, or from the ocean bottom camouflage on the Bismarck. And this is one that is just the detail of this skin. Now, this skin, or camo, whatever you want to call it, unfortunately, it's not actually historically accurate. When I first got it in game, I thought it was, because given what happened to the Bismarck and its fate, I would think it would be a historically accurate model of the damage that the Bismarck took during Operation Rheinbong in the hunt for Bismarck, but unfortunately it's not. However, it's definitely, well, there's definitely a couple of spots on the Bismarck that I'm pretty sure are nods to what actually happened to it. Now, why they didn't want to model the exact battle damage that the Bismarck took, I don't know exactly, but there's 2 spots that I want to look at in this video. The first one is the hole in the fore of the bow of the Bismarck. This could be a reference to the hole that was put there by, I believe, the Duke of York, that pierced her forward fuel tanks, well, oil tanks too, that obviously led to the need to return to occupied France to repair and refuel the Bismarck. Also, another thing to note is that this is one of the first camos in the game that changed the actual 3D model of the ship. As you can see, this hole in the bow, it's through and through. You can see clean onto the other side, and there's even detail on the interior of the ship as well. So this is one of the first 3D models changes that happened with one of these camouflages. And now, of course, today we have plenty of skins and camos that do this. So that could be a nod to that damage that the Bismarck took. Another one is this big ol' hit on the forward superstructure of the Bismarck. Now, if you know what the Bismarck took during the hunt for Bismarck, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this was meant to be the hit from the Rodney, or from one of Rodney's 16-inch shells that killed most of the bridge crew, including Lucian's. But this isn't the bridge. If you look up a little higher, that's the bridge right behind it. So being that this very large gaping hole that I'm pretty sure is from a 16-inch shell is this close to the bridge, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be a nod toward that hit that took out the most of the bridge crew on the Bismarck. But the ultimate thing pointing out that this is not historically accurate, not only from, well, the bridge is perfectly fine in the skin, is that if you come underneath the Bismarck and look at the rudder is still intact, which it was not. It was jammed at I think left rudder 15 degrees, I think, what it was jammed at. Something like that. So while not 100% historical camouflage, a very neat camouflage that, in my mind at least, has a lot of nods toward the actual damage that the Bismarck took during the hunt for Bismarck, and a very cool camo as well. We even used it in the Operation Rheinbong cinematic video to, of course, simulate that damage that the Bismarck took. Alright, moving on down to number 4, we have the Grafspeed, the Tier 6 Premium Germany, I'm about to say Germanese. I'm so used to saying a Japanese because of the tone and the issei. But anyway, German cruiser, the Grafspeed, or pocket battleship if you want to talk real life. So the Grafspeed, there's two things I want to talk about in the Grafspeed. First one is that if you look in her center deck, right, I believe, behind her stack, there is a pair of fake barrels with a sign draped over them. Now, when I originally was recording this, that sign is supposed to say something. I thought, oh, well, it doesn't render out in battle because I had to go into a training room to get to the free cam. But if you look at it in port 2, the wording's missing from there too. And that sign is supposed to say in German, "Do not signal or I will fire." Because the Grafspeed, in real life, was a commerce raider. She raided convoys going to and fro North America and Europe. And part of what the Grafspeed would do is they would dress her up as trying to look like a British ship. They would add in a fake turret over the bridge, and here's an image of what that looks like. And one of the things that the Grafspeed would do is signal to her enemies that not to radio for help or they would open fire. And that sign right there is supposed to say that in German. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it just got overlooked in a patch or an update or something happened, it's no longer there, which is unfortunate. Some other things that have been pointed out as Easter eggs on the Grafspeed is that her turrets are named Scharnhorst and Gneisenau after the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau that we have in game. That's not entirely correct. The two turrets are named after the World War I era ships Scharnhorst and Gneisenau that were under command of the real Admiral Grafspeed, who lost his life while commanding those ships in the Battle, I believe, of the Falklands. So cool historical accuracy there. And in real life, again, those turrets were actually named Scharnhorst and Grafspeed. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau because of Admiral Grafspeed. So a cool bit of detail there as well. And you had their crest there. It is kind of low res, but you got to remember that the Grafspeed is one of the older premiums in game, so she doesn't have the high fidelity that some of the newer premiums do have. So one Easter egg and two cool details there on the Grafspeed. Alright, moving on down to number 3, we have the Tier 8 Premium Italian Battleship, the Roma. And I'm willing to bet a good chunk of you know this, but maybe some of you newer players don't. If you look at between Roma's two smokestacks, she has a Frix X bomb chilling on her deck. And the Frix X, if you don't know, is one of the world's first radio-controlled bombs, meaning that you could drop it from an aircraft and guide it down to its target via a controller, which that's pretty advanced tech for World War II. So this is also a piece of German technology. You may be thinking, well, Mountbatten, why are the Germans bombing the Italians? Well, if you remember, Italy got tired of losing and switched sides about halfway through the war. So the Roman, I believe it was the Vittorio or the Littorio. It might have been all three, actually. I think it was all three. They were headed to Allied waters after Italy switched sides, and, well, Germany can't have the Allies getting their hands on, at the time, what was some very nice battleships, so they deployed the Frix X to, well, stop the Roma, and it worked quite well. And that is exactly where the Frix X in real life hit the Roma, right between the two stacks, went down to the boiler room and exploded and sunk the Roma in one drop. And it's modeled here in game where it accurately hit the ship. So a cool little detail there. You can kind of see it from port, but if you want to see it up close, you got to go into a training room and go into free cam, and you can get a really good look at it there. So again, another cool little Easter egg there on the Roma. Moving on down to number 2, we have the Tier 4 British aircraft carrier Hermes. And if you look at the Hermes, or if you look at the open bridge on the Hermes underneath the awning there, you will see that there is a map. And that map is of what's now Sri Lanka, what used to be, I believe you pronounce it Ceylon. And there's a red dot off of the coast of the island. And that's where the real-life Hermes was attacked by Japanese bombers when it was on its way to the Maldives, but it didn't have any planes on board it at that time. That's where it got sunk at by the Japanese, and that's here on that map under the bridge. I'm sorry, on the wing bridge of, not the wing bridge, on the open bridge of the Hermes. What's also here is a little model airplane. I think that's what that's supposed to be. It looks like it's made out of a desk turned sideways with a chair and obviously the fuselage of an airplane, and I guess that's supposed to be a biplane. I'm not sure if this is like a historical thing that they had on the ship. It doesn't really look like it. It also has 1.0 on the shield in the front and some papers on deck, but if you just zoom into the papers, they're just pixels, so you can't really make it out to be. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. I couldn't really find out any information about that, but another cool little Easter egg and detail there on the Hermes. So coming in at number 1, we have everybody's favorite torpedo delivery system. The Tier 9 Premium Italian destroyer, the Iolo Emilio. So the Iolo Emilio, this one on here isn't historical like the other Easter eggs on this list. This one I just thought was really freaking funny. So if you go to the aft conning tower on the Iolo Emilio and take a peek inside, there's a pizza there. I laughed really hard when I found that out. So there's a pizza chilling on this map of Europe with a cigar, and I think that's supposed to be a box of matches or maybe a cigarette case or something. But yeah, there's a pizza on the Iolo Emilio, which is often called, you know, the pizza slinger, the pizza delivery system. You get your torpedoes, and definitely under 30 minutes or less in the Iolo Emilio because of its playstyle. But such a funny little detail, and I'm so glad the devs can have a laugh like that and throw things like that into the game. So guys, those are 5 Easter eggs slash hidden details, or details in general, in World of Warships. If you'd like to see more of this list, a bit of a unique list for the channel, let me know. There's about 20 or 30 of these that I could probably make a whole series of videos like this. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these. I'm certainly up to do it. If you have any Easter eggs that you found while playing World of Warships, please let us know in the comments down below, and let's see if there's some that haven't been found just yet. Anyway guys, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 30,000 subs. We just passed 26,700 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.